hear you. Let me hear you. How many people were here 10 years ago when Hatchet first premiered? How many people have seen it 100 freaking times since? You guys are the Hatchet Army, okay? It's because of each and every one of you that we're all here tonight. The love you have for Victor Crowley and for Adam Green and for Ariscope Pictures. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you for that. 10 years ago, I stood in, I don't know who was this theater, because I don't remember what the fuck I did to it. But 10 years ago, I had the honor of introducing At Green when Hat was just about to premiere. And here we are 10 years later. We're a little...
Yeah, you guys.
Just better. 10 years ago, I met Adam Green, and he was gracious enough to let me, at that time, who was abso-fucking-lutely nobody, and honestly, nothing has changed, but he let me be part of his family, and he invited me to help and to be a part of this magic. And that's what this is, okay? It's magic for guys like you and girls like you who just helped us all create something special and most of all, unforgettable, because 10 years later, we're back, baby. Without further ado, Adam Green.
Years, look at you. You guys look beautiful. We got the original cast here tonight. The guys, you look okay. The women make you look fucking great. It doesn't seem like 10 years went by. Patrika Darbo is here. Where is she? Right here. Patrika goes from getting her face ripped in half by Victor Crowley to winning an Emmy last year. So. Proof to all of us that maybe you can get legitimate work after this. Although, Joel David Moore, where's Joel? Joel? Yeah, from Hatchet to a little movie called Avatar. You're welcome. Everyone knows it was all me. All right, look, I have a lot to say, and you know, it's a retro screening, and I know it's more about getting to hear everybody speak and all that anyway, so forgive me, I'm going to try to keep this short. After the screening, there's going to be a Q&A. We have not just the actors from the first film, but actors from the sequels. They're all going to come down. Not everybody's going to get a chance to speak, obviously, because there's going to be 6,000 people up here, but we will be taking questions from you. I know that it's a work night, and there's at least 3 of you in here who work, so if you just bear with us, do not leave when the credits start. That's all I'm going to say about that. Don't leave when the credits start. I want to thank Dark Sky and Staff Power PR for putting this event on. Okay, and you know, I was very lucky when I made this first movie that I had a cast and a crew that treated me like I wasn't a first-time director. And you know, I had directed some other things, but this was really my first movie, and they never treated me like that. And not just the younger cast, Mercedes, Jolie, Perry, Dion, Joel, Tamara, the veterans, the Joel Murrays, the Richard Reillys, the Patrika Darbos, the Kane Hodders, the Robert Englands, the Tony Todds. I mean, they treated me like I deserved to be there, and that made all the difference in the world. And when we were shooting that, I remember saying on set, if this movie ever gets a theatrical release, on opening night, I will get down on my hands and knees and kiss the floor of that theater. And this is the theater where we opened, and that's why we're doing this here tonight. This was also the theater where we sold the film in, which is a different story, because no one wanted it when it came out. A lot of people don't know that. We premiered at Tribeca, we went to Fright Fest, we went to Fantastic Fest, to Fuck You Fest, to whatever, like it was everywhere. And we're winning Audience Choice Awards, and Kane's winning Best Actor, and it was incredible. But the town did not notice. And they had declared this script dead when I wrote it. And the best rejection was the one that I turned into the fucking tagline on the poster, which said, this movie will not get made because it's not a remake, it's not a sequel, and it's not based on a Japanese one. That was a rejection letter. And that was exactly what we loved about it. But no one wanted it. And then we had a screening here at the ArcLight, right here, and just free screening, please come and have a second look. 400 seats, 735 people lined up down Sunset, and that was the night we started getting theatrical offers. So never give up on that stuff, and don't believe anybody when they tell you something's not good enough, or it's not going to get made, or this is a tough sell, or it's up to you. It's what you make of it. And I've just been so lucky that I've had such a great team around me that believes in me, not just the cast and the crew, my agents, my managers, they believe, and not a lot of people have that. I'm very lucky. Okay, I'm gonna jump ahead here a little bit. When Hatchet 3 came out in 2013, I was really done with all of this, because as much as I loved it, it just hurt too much. With the first one, your opening night here, you buy your ticket, but it wasn't the movie we made. Like, so much of the best stuff of it, these elaborate kills that our effects team had done, they were cut out of the movie by the MPAA. And then in the second one, we're gonna have our revenge. We're gonna open unrated, first time, 25, 30 years since Romero's Dawn of the Dead, an unrated horror movie in major multiplexes. And we disappeared in the first 48 hours, and no one knows why. That hurt. And then 3, it was hard, man. And we were way more in a real swamp on 3. Everyone's going to the emergency room every night. I mean, it was really, it was warfare. And so by the time it came out, I was done. And about a year later, I went through some of the worst shit I've ever gone through in life. For those who watch HAUS, and Dave Brocky, my friend, passed away. Hilarious, that's right. Then the network gets dissolved 3 weeks later, and then it was just one horrible thing after another, not just work, a lot of personal stuff. And I was not doing well. And I know there's people in this room who know what was really going on, people who tried to help, and I thank you and I love you for that, because I would not be here right now if it was not for you. And to the fans that kind of knew what was going on and who wrote and took time, and I remember every letter, I remember every tweet, thank you. But at that time, I was pretty disenfranchised with what I was doing, and then Wes Craven died, almost 2 years ago to the day of the screening. And that one really hurt, man. I mean, all of us, we would not be doing what we do if it were not for Wes Craven. He is the Lord and Savior, or at least one of them. And my generation, there's so many other filmmakers in this theater tonight. We never would have even picked up a camera and tried if it had not been for guys like Wes. And phone calls start happening, and the common thing was like, man, our idols, our mentors, they're not mortal. I mean, they are mortal, they're not immortal, and they're gonna die someday, and what are we gonna do? What have we done of any significance? Like, have we contributed anything? Because it never quite feels like that. And 2 months later, I get this amazing opportunity to do a panel at Rock and Shock in Worcester, Massachusetts with George Romero. And it was really his panel. I was just sort of the moderator, but George had picked me because he didn't want to talk about zombies or what he thinks about Walking Dead. He wanted to talk about the craft. He wanted to talk about the business and how things can still get made in this terrible climate that we're in. And it was the honor of a lifetime. I mean, as much as I had known George for 10 years at that point, and we were friendly, I'll still always be just absolutely sheer reverence of him. I mean, he's not just the godfather of zombies, he's the godfather of independent cinema. If George didn't do it, we probably wouldn't be, for all we know. And as I'm sitting there, feeling at my absolute worst about everything, and so sure that I'm done, and I'm not just giving up on movies, I mean, I'm giving up. And he starts speaking to me as if I'm a filmmaker, as if I'm an equal, saying the names of my films, and it just was kind of, what are you doing? Like, it's just me. And at the end of the panel, everybody stood up and they're clapping for George. And he looks at me and he points, he says, "You see this?" And I said, "Yeah, dude, congrats, this is great." And he's like, "It's not just for me, look. And you see these Hatchet shirts and Holliston shirts and all of it, and he could see it, I just couldn't see it. At this point in my life, all I saw was failure. I'd go into Aeroscope each day, and there's like a wall of posters and awards and stuff, and all I saw was failure. And he took me aside, and there's a photo of this on the Aeroscope site, or maybe you've seen me post it. It's a black and white picture of us walking off the stage, and George has his arm around me. And a fan happened to get this picture, and he brought it by my table the next day, and he said, "I don't know what was being said here, but it seemed important, so I wanted you to have this." And it has hung over my desk at Aeroscope ever since. But without sharing too much about the conversation, George said, "I know you're going through a really hard time. A lot of people are worried about you. I've heard the things you've said, that what you do doesn't matter, that you don't matter. Like, you have to be crazy to not be able to see that. What about Victor Crowley?" And I'm like, "George, it's a cult movie. It's not even a cult movie. It's whatever. Like, it's fine. We pushed it as far as we could. I know there's people that love it, but I just can't do it anymore." And he said, "Until you realize that it doesn't just belong to you anymore. It's much bigger than that. It belongs to the people that love it. It doesn't need to be Star Wars. It doesn't need to be Harry Potter, even Freddy Krueger. But to the people it matters to, it fucking matters. And the soldiers, the burn victims, the disabled, don't you see?" And I said, "Yeah, I do," but I didn't. And he said, "So when are you going to give these kids," everybody's kids to George, I guess when George Romero, you can say that, "when are you going to give these kids another Crowley movie?" And I said, "I'm never going to. There's no way. I'm done. I am done, George." And he laughed, and like a scene out of a movie, his handler came to whisk him away, and he turned back, and now I'm not the tallest guy, so to me everybody's like 9-10 feet tall. But George is like 50 feet tall, and he looks at me over his glasses, and he just smiled, and he said, "You're not done, and Victor Crowley's not dead." And he left. And that's why, thanks to George Romero, who was supposed to be here tonight, but we missed it by 37 days, we're not here to watch Hatchet. We're here to watch a new Hatchet movie. Thank you. Okay, sit down. There's still another 45 minutes to this speech. So the movie is the fourth movie in the Hatchet franchise. It's called Victor Crowley, and it was made in secret over the past 2 years. I want to thank my cast and my crew and the people who worked on this. It was so hard to keep this a secret. It was so hard. It wasn't just for the fans. It wasn't just because it was the 10th anniversary. It wasn't just because of George. I had to do this for me. And it might be sad that it took losing people like Wes and George or Dave Brocky to be able to really see and love my own creation and not just see what it isn't or how it's not good enough or what didn't go right. it saved me in a lot of ways. And after that moment with George, when I came back and I'm sitting there writing Exterior, Honey Island Swamp Night, and I'm thinking, oh my fucking God, Sarah's gonna kill me, Will's gonna kill me. Kane will be happy, everyone will be happy. And that's exactly what happened. These movies are hard to make. When you see the behind the scenes that Sarah Albert, our producer, so lovingly makes for you guys, that's her all. That's her all. And she makes it look like it's so fun. Yay, we're making a movie. It isn't. If you've ever worked on one of these, it's like doing time. We jokingly just on the carpet we're calling it's serving your genre. Like it's hard. It's really hard, and it breaks you. And after each one, we have more and more scars, and the family can start to become a little more and more fractured because of how hard it is. Like, it doesn't matter what the budget is. That's the thing. People are always like, what was the budget? What was the budget? The budget is what was on the script, because I am so lucky to be surrounded by people who will do anything they can and kill themselves to try to make that happen, even when it never should in a million years. And when you see some of the things we pulled off this time, I'm in awe of the people I worked with. A lot of new blood on this one too, but I'll speak about that when I can speak more specifically to the movie. But we do have a movie to watch. One thing I want to say, now this was a surprise for you and the people watching at home. Entertainment Weekly just broke the news 2 minutes ago. But you are the first. You are the first people to see this. Nobody has seen it except for Matt Latham, my editor, and myself. We were here at 7 a.m. to tech check it. No one has seen it. So on Saturday night, it's going to play in London, and then it's going to do about 25 cities. I'm going to be on the road till Thanksgiving, bringing this same experience, city after city, night after night, to the fans that made this happen and who made Victor Crowley an icon. Whatever level he's at, he's somewhere, man, and he's my monster. He's my contribution, and I fucking love him. So, we are going to come down and do a Q&A afterwards, and so that we're not here for another 80 minutes like this speech. We're going to afterwards, instead of rushing down here to meet people or take pictures, we're all going to move out to the courtyard. And so you can meet everybody. Again, the original cast is here. There's people from Hatchet 2, Hatchet 3, and of course, the entire new cast is here as well, who you're about to meet. So don't spoil it, please. I know people are going to be anxious to post reviews and stuff, and I did this with Digging Up the Marrow, and it worked, so hopefully it works now. At each stop on this tour, tonight now being the real opening night, I'm going to tell people, like, I don't care if you say that you loved it, you hated it, it sucks, Adam Green's a fucking douchebag, he's a hack, I can't. Which, by the way, we should get that out of the way now, because this is something I do at screenings, if you've never heard this, but it works. So, we all know, there's a lot of filmmakers in here, we all know that it's bullshit, that this thing has gone as long as it did. It's not that good, I'm not that good, your shit's better. So, now that we got that out of the way, let's leave it outside. Let's just have a good time. It's not a competition. But please, don't spoil it. Don't say the surprises. Don't say necessarily who's in it if you know that it's probably supposed to be a surprise at least. Don't say what happens beat for beat. Don't ruin this for the fans that we made it for. Just say your opinion. Tell the world all about it. I'm supposed to say, hashtag Victor Crowley lives. I said it. So use that. Hashtag Victor Crowley lives. You know what? Dark Sky paid for this whole premiere, so hashtag Victor Crowley lives. Do what they say. Thank you. In closing, I said in the beginning how on opening night I kneeled down and kissed the ground if we had had a theatrical release. And tonight, I do it for a different reason, because I almost wasn't here with you, and I'm so fucking glad that I am. And there's nowhere else that I would rather be than in this room, in this moment right now with all of you. So thank you for all you've given us.
Enjoy, Victor Crowley.
Gentlemen, welcome to history, baby. I just want to say that the collective gasp from all you cats when Adam said you were going to see a new Hatchet movie was one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard. So give it up for yourselves, really.
Pretty good.
Shocking, huh? It feels so good to be able to talk about it now. But speaking of talk about it, this was a Herculean effort, man. I don't know if you guys can appreciate just how rough it was to get that done, but also get it done without you motherfuckers finding out. Okay? And to talk a little bit more about that, please welcome back Adam Green. Adam Green! You ain't done yet. Adam Green! First, before you say anything, as a close friend of George, he would have loved that you did this. And he may not be here with us, but he knows. He definitely knows, and he would have loved that. Now that we got the solemn shit out of the way, I want to know about that song too, man. What was that?
Oh, okay. Before you start bringing people, yeah, okay. The end credits song. So Wes passing away was the kind of instigator to this happening. My favorite. Where's Brian Collins? All right, good. This is for. I've been waiting 2 fucking years to tell you this. You already know, right? No. Oh, okay. My favorite Wes Craven movie and Brian Collins' favorite Wes Craven movie. I'm not saying it's his best, but our favorite is Shocker. And Shocker's got the greatest soundtrack ever, with the best song on it, Demon Bell, The Ballad of Horace Pinker by Dangerous Toys. Now, Dangerous Toys is the first band I ever saw live. Not my favorite, Twisted Sister will always be my favorite. But first band I ever saw live, 14 years old, Orpheum Theater, Boston. They were playing with Toa Toa, no one in here knows who they are. Wait, really? No, you're lying. And LA Guns. Lock and Shoes, Guilty, Phantom, whatever. Okay, Toa Toa, no. So, anyway, if someone could have told me, like, then, that someday that dude would stop a show to point out that I was in the crowd. I mean, when I was 14, to me, he was a fucking god. Jason McMaster from Dangerous Toys. I know right now everyone in this room was like, who? But I thought he was the coolest shit ever. And I collect Dangerous Toys stuff. And what? Sport and Woody. Okay, Dean knows what's up. House of Horror. On what channel is it on? Every channel. Okay, anyway, point is, when I went through all the shit that I was referring to before, I heard Dangerous Toys was doing a reunion show in San Antonio, Texas. And Lynch was like, dude, just go. It would make you happy. Why not? Go. So I fly to this club. Halfway through the show, Jason's like, how many people here aren't from San Antonio? I raise my hand with a few other people, and he stops. And he's like, you're Adam Green? It was like, what? And again, I know nobody really cares about this, but it was huge to me. And he's like, after the show, he was like, if you ever need a song, I'd love to do one. And I'm like, actually, if we could bring this full circle and do Hatchet, the Ballad of Victor Crowley, but you do it just like you did for Shocker, and that's what that was. So, to start the Q&A, now again, not just yet, we're gonna bring all the cast members down from all, if you were ever in a Hatchet movie, you're gonna come down. But first, I wanna bring down, I want to bring down 4 really important people. Okay, that's one of them. There's 3 other producers who make these movies with me, and unfortunately one of them can't be here tonight because he had to put his cat to sleep just a few hours ago, which is terrible. So Corey Neal could not be here. But the other producers, if you've ever watched the making of Hatchet 1, it starts with Will Barrett Sarah, Albert, and myself going down to New Orleans on a haunted swamp tour, just like you saw the kids doing this to make a mock trailer. Only we did not die. But Sarah and Will, if you guys could come down. I'm the one who gets to like stand up and do the speeches and go and parade, but it's not just me, man. This has been a group effort since day one, and a lot of sacrifices get made to do this. And then before I bring all the cast members down, the two that have been in all of it, the franchise leads, Mr. Kane, Hodder, and Perry Shen. If you guys could come out.
I just want to see them hug again. Guys, Hatchet, above any other recent franchise I can think of, has become a family. And right now, I'd like to bring up the newest members of that family, the cast of Victor Crowley. Give it up! And right now, to complete things, I would like the rest of the Hatchet cast to please come on down. Give it up for the cast of Hatchet, Hatchet 2, and Hatchet 3. If you guys are looking for a photo op, believe me, this is it.
Please take pictures of this. This might never happen again.
Ladies and gentlemen, the cast of all 4 Hatchet films. So, you want to take pictures? Do it now. I'm gonna get out of here.
Everyone is going to speak. We're going to get you out of here.
We're gonna be here till 3 fucking a.m. A couple questions I have, and this film bears a dubious distinction. Although we've seen him in a missing poster, Will Barrett did not shoot this with you. So I was wondering if you can go on about that and explain that.
Well, so this was the first movie ever. Not just the first movie, first time I'd ever been on a set in my life, in the however many years I've been doing this, 94 years or whatever, that I wasn't with Will. He had to bow because he got a new job. And why don't you tell everybody how you felt about that?
Right on. Yeah, so it was absolutely one of the hardest days of my life, the moment I had to walk into the Aeroscope office. And we had a meeting about the movie because we were fine for a while. But then the movie pushed, and then it pushed again for another 2 weeks, then it pushed again for another 2 weeks. And at that point, my new job was just like, yeah, no, it's not going to happen, we can't do it. So I had to sit across the table from Adam and tell him that it's the first Hatchet movie that I'm not going to be able to film. And we cried across the table, we bawled our eyes out, Sarah was bawling her eyes out, and Corey Neal, I don't know, I don't think he really bothered him that much. But But I gotta say that Gianmichael Lasada is out here. He's my man. He is the director of photography of this film. And didn't it feel like a Hatchet movie? Didn't it look like a Hatchet movie? Jan knocked it so out of the park. We talked a little bit. We talked a little bit, but he was so collaborative. And yeah, come on down, Jan. You're part of the family. Come on, get up here, buddy. And we talked a little bit, but man, the stuff he went through to make this film happen is just amazing. And it looks and feels like a real Hatchet movie. So while I'm super sad, I'm glad to be here with him.
Yeah, Jan was kind of the unsung hero of this shoot because it could have gone any which way, and Jan fucking killed it. So.
Now, there's another person here that I really want to bring up and talk to. Make no mistake, nobody here and nobody out there would be here without Sarah. Every mock trailer, every movie, incessantly dealing with Adam? Do you think that shit is easy? None of us would be here without you. And it's such a pleasure to be able to be here with you and tell you that to your face, because a lot of times we get all the glory, you guys get all the fun, but she does all the fucking work. You are the goddess of all that is gory, baby. I know you're teary, and on behalf of the entire Hatchet Army, which I know a thing or two about, I want to thank you. Thank you so much. Let's hear it for her. Sarah, what's it like dealing with these maniacs, and why do you keep doing it, man?
That was amazing. Thank you. I don't know what to say. I just, I don't know what to say. If you ever, it started a long time ago when I kind of said, hey, this script is really good. You should make this movie. And he said, no, you should make this movie. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. But then we made the teaser trailer, and we just kept collecting people to become part of this amazing, what comes after trilogy? Quadrilogy. We just invented it. Well, anyhow, there was a moment where I may not have been a part of Hatchet 1, and Adam laid himself on the line and said, if she's not in, I'm not in, we're not doing the movie. That's why I do everything I can for this and believe in it so much and love it. And I love you, Adam, and thank you for taking me on your roller coaster ride. And thank all of you.
Amazing. Again, Sarah, baby. Now, another person I want to talk to for a second is someone who just can't stay dead. Perry, come here. Perry Shan, the franchise. Everything revolves around you, kind of. Tell us about working on this franchise and just being a part of this special thing, man. It's turned into something phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, it's like every couple of years, it's like habit, like, oh, I'm doing another Hatchet movie. It's like, but it's weird, right? So it gets smaller and smaller, the people that can say that. But when I was on the set of 3, I remember asking Adam, like, so this is it, right? And this was obviously before the talk with Wes and George, and he was definitely, he was like, that's it, it's I'm done. And then later, I saw like a glimmer where he kind of thought about what it would be, and he said, although, if there was a 4th movie, it'd probably be about you. So I was like, well, okay, because I'm the only one alive. So and then later he called me, 2 years ago. He says, hey, I got a little private meeting. First you got to sign this NDA. I was like, okay, what's this about? And yeah, so it's kind of trippy that it seems like I say that every one of these movies is a very different experience. Like in high school, like the first one was just kind of having fun, just loose, and not really knowing what we're doing. And then this is like my senior year, so it's kind of cool.
Barry Shan. Who, if you know there's going to be a next one, he's probably going to get blamed for all this shit. So there's that, right? And now the man of the hour, one of my dear friends, and he's just incomparable. Kane, come on up. Kane Hodder, baby! You know, a franchise is only as good as its villain. And you've managed to bring such a ferocity and life to this role. And I know you thought it was over just like everyone else, but then magic happened. A higher power intervened, and here you are again, man. Let's talk about Victor Crowley and what it means to you and what you know it means to them. And this is actually the closest I've ever been to you without you fucking choking me. So I'm really happy about that. But yes, let's talk about Victor Crowley.
Well, everyone knows what this character has meant to me. I loved playing the Jason character for as long as I did, and unceremoniously replaced, and didn't get the opportunity to continue. No, it wasn't by Derek, it was by someone else. Derek did a great job. But yes, he did. And he did a great job in Hatchet 3. I mean, Hatchet, what was it, 2 or 3? Now I can't remember. 3, yes, of course. So that face-off scene was amazing. But anyway, the character regenerated my horror career playing this character. And when Adam told me about this one, I said, okay, we've done 3. Please just tell me I get to fucking kill Barry Shan. And he said, well, and I said, I knew it. Fucking knew it. The one guy I really want to kill, and I just can't do it. God. Maybe one day, who knows, but the films have been so much fun. The character is amazing. The cast that I've been able to work with myself, unbelievable talent in a budget that doesn't dictate having talent like this. So we've been very fortunate, and I feel very fortunate to have played the character. So thanks for the support.
Mr. Kane Hodder. Okay, so now what we want to know is any of you have questions? You, sir.
First off, holy fucking fuck, that was amazing. Thank you, that was an awesome surprise. Second, Kane, I heard on the podcast that every movie you do, there is one person that gets a surprise in their trailer. Who was it in this movie?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, no, I think that on this one, the surprise was on. Is it? Can we say that? If the surprise was on us, I can't remember.
Go ahead, you can. It was Adam. Even though it wasn't a victim, I finally pissed in his area. He doesn't even know it, so.
I'm gonna take him outside and make jokes.
Everyone else? Anyone else? Raise your hand so I could see you right there.
When can we expect the release, and what kind of release will we get? Any kind
Good question. When do you expect the release, and what kind of release is it getting?
Okay, so here's the cool thing. Starting this Saturday, it plays London, and then I think either tomorrow or the next day, the full tour list should be out. It was supposed to be out right when this announcement happened, but obviously they can't do it until every single little thing is in stone. But it's going to be a lot of cities across America, October through Thanksgiving. And then the release, which will be some sort of theatrical, most likely, like don't quote me on this because I haven't seen it in writing yet, but some sort of theatrical and VOD and DVD and Blu-ray and all that stuff. Personally, like by Christmas. So it's gonna happen really fast. Like we announced it tonight, it's gonna tour and do cities and then boom, it's out. So what we wanted to do was avoid a year of announcements and set visits and 20 teaser trailers and like we just wanted to be like, here, see it, but this exists now and here we go. So one thing we are gonna do though, that we did with Romero, it helps avoid the piracy and the bullshit. The only copy of this movie that exists is in my hands. And so no press screeners, no anything, they don't exist. So if you wanna see it, you come to the theater, that's how you see it. I am sick of these entitled motherfuckers stealing the work that we do because they don't think it's worth anything. So we did it with Romero. It's gonna work for this. Anybody from the press who wants to come and review it and say mean things or whatever, we'll buy them a ticket for the theater and they can come see it, but nobody gets a screener. And once it comes out, unfortunately, the moment it hits VOD, DVD, Blu-ray, it's gone. So I would love to put that off forever. I'd love to tour with this for 15 years. And people get so mad about it, by the way, with Romero. I can't believe, they're tweeting to me, I can't believe I can't find a fucking link to your movie to steal. Sorry, go fuck yourself. But that's the plan right now, is by end of year, it should be out. But again, I'm not the distributor, so what do I know?
Next, right there.
What was the best and worst day on set?
Best and worst day.
I'll let somebody else answer the best day one if somebody knows. And also, let's answer the best day from the first one and the best day from this one, if you guys can start thinking. The worst day on this one. So, as you saw, most of the movie takes place on a plane. The plane was a huge deal to build that thing, and it was like the shell of an actual plane and all the... Anyway, we shot the first 2 days on a soundstage. That was when things were good on the plane, up through the crash. That crash, there were 46 different people who all had a job to do it as a oneer like that without, cutting. And it was hard to pull off. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. When you can't compete with a $200 million movie plane crash, you have to think of a different way. So my idea was to show it from the point of view of somebody sitting there. Like, what would it feel like if you went down in a small plane like that? You could only see what you would be able to see. And judging by the response, it seemed like it worked. So then we moved the plane to the ranch. It's called Santa Ranch, right near Sable Ranch, where we shot the first one, literally 10 minutes away. And they put the plane in the water, and we had a very, very tight shoot for this. There was no time to fuck around. And our, it was the key grip, I think, or the gaffer, who stepped on it, right as the cast is finished with makeup and ready to shoot, and the fucking floor falls out of it into the swamp. Done shooting for the night, and the next day, several people came with masks and snorkels and had to dive under to try to build the floor back up so there was a floor that the cast could safely stand on, which it was actually never safe, and they could have died at any. Guys, cover your ears. I'm surprised they're still fucking alive. Like, it was the most dangerous. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. It was totally safe. It wasn't safe at all.
Who's got the best memory from the first one? Oh, of course, Joel. Come here.
Hi guys, that was fun, huh? Yeah! That was fucking cool. That's the way to do a fourth movie right there. Congrats. Adam's one of my best friends. I'm one of his biggest fans. Look at this family right here. He's done a very good job. This does not happen in our industry. This is really fucking cool, dude. Congratulations. You should feel good about yourself. There's a lot of really fun. We were all young. We didn't know what we were doing on the first one. We had like $7, and Adam was like, "You get 50 cents. You get a quarter." And so all we had to do was just fuck around with each other. And I remember, first of all, he threw up in my mouth. Oh yeah. And that was awesome. And then I threw up on camera. That was awesome. But the best moment, I think, was when we scared the living shit out of Mercedes McNabb. Is she here? I heard she was here. Is she here, Adam? She was. She was. She's out. She didn't want to hear the story, that's why. We were doing these little like, we were recording these little pieces, right? And at one point, we knew that we wanted to get Mercedes, so Kane didn't talk to us normally. In the first one, he didn't, I don't know how he dealt with you guys, but he did not talk to us. He was separate from us. He wanted to sort of keep the lore and keep the idea and keep it reverent. And so we finally talked you, and it was like a couple weeks into it, we talked him into hiding in Mercedes' trailer's shower. And then we told her that we were going to do something inside. I can't remember exactly. We have a video. Go find this online or look at it. It's on Aeroscope probably. And we get her in the trailer somehow and scare the living shit out of her. And I don't know. I can't even remember the end of the story. But that moment right there was the defining moment where we pulled Kane out of his sort of behind the mask, as you would say, and just to scare the shit out of Mercedes. So. And I'm so glad to see Tamara here. Look at this. Everybody give Tamara a round of applause. I haven't seen her for like 10 years. This is awesome.
Now, Chase, from Victor Crowley, your death was pretty brutal. So I was wondering if you can talk a little bit about it, because I understand you have a hell of a story.
Oh, about that? Oh, well, we had a great time. It wasn't scary at all. Yeah, it was the first big like death thing I've had in something. That was sweet. It was intense. It was a lot to watch, and I'm gonna mourn myself for the rest of my life. But I'm just like surreal to be here, kind of, because I watched Hatchet for the first time when I was like 15 or 16 at my parents' house when I first started smoking weed, and then I think I played Enter the Matrix on PS2 afterwards. Yeah. So like I feel like very like things have really come full circle. So I'm just like very delighted to be here, and like it's such a great vibe. Like, you know, there's so much passion behind this franchise, and Adam is like the hub of that. So what? Oh, that I got punched in the face? Oh, well, you know. My eyeball exploded. It's no big deal. It was cool. Blood was shed. I like to shed blood in every role that I do, just to show that I'm committed and I'm serious, and this is my art and my passion. And for that reason, I'm glad that I did this.
Come, my dear, we haven't heard from you in a long time. Share.
Hi, it's been 10 years. I have a worst and a best story. So my worst story was we all were bored, kind of, shooting, and we snuck onto a train that was a prop, because I don't know why it was out there. And Victor Crowley figured out that we were on the train, and somehow the door got locked, and we were literally stuck on the train, and then there was somebody banging on the side of it, and we were fucking terrified. Can I say fucking? Sorry. But it scared me so, I was so scared of him. It was horrible, and I was so scared of that. It was like the worst night. I mean, they locked me in a barn, and he was out there banging on it and chasing me. It was so much torture. And then the best night for me was also with Kane, and he took all the makeup off, and he was his real self, and he had to sit there and he had to cry over the loss of his son. And it was a closed set, and I got to sit there, and we made eye contact, and I got to look at him, and we got to have this really beautiful, emotional scene, and he cried on camera with no makeup. He's such a beautiful actor, such a wonderful person, and it was really the best moment of the entire thing for me.
Any more questions out there? Right there. Ooh, when is the soundtrack gonna be is the soundtrack gonna be released?
Yeah, so it was just announced maybe a month ago that now Aeroscope has a record division, so Aeroscope Records is now a thing. Our first release is my band Haddonfield, which hopefully you caught the dig at my own band, Crystal's line about Haddonfield. Our record comes out next month on the 15th. Digitally, I think, and then October 13th is the vinyl and CD, and that's when we play Rock and Shock with Ministry and get booed off the stage. So, yeah, Aeroscope Records is going to be putting this out. So Igniter, the Jason McMaster from Dangerous Toys, that last song, they have an album called Haunted by Rock and Roll that Aeroscope Records and EMP is going to be putting out, I think, by Halloween. But that'll just be the song. But what we're actually trying to do is go one step further and do like all the music from the Hatchet series. The only thing with that one is that the top priority, just by demand, is a Holliston soundtrack. So that's the thing that we're going to focus on first, and then this. But for Record Store Day, don't quote me on this. It's not definite yet. Supposedly, it's going to be a single with the end credit song, and then the rap song that you heard in the middle of the people that Q was listening to, Sick Mind. That was actually Laura's fiance, well, going to be husband in like 10 minutes. Adrian produced that, and it's Walking the Cloud, Poison Pen, Joker. That song, when you hear it, actually on, if you listen to the Movie Crypt, the podcast that Joe and I do, on Monday we played both songs in their entirety on the podcast. That rap song is incredible, absolutely incredible. So there's going to be videos for both, and for Record Store Day, what I'm hearing now is it's going to be a vinyl single with one song on each side. It'll be a limited edition, but you can get it right next door at Amoeba.
Awesome. Any more? Last question right there.
I was really excited to see the return of the gas-powered belt sander. Isn't there a story behind that? Didn't you have to actually create that prop?
The story of the gas-powered belt sander.
Yeah, it's in every movie somewhere. We always get that in. The quick story of that was, I wrote it in the script for the first one, and then I got cold feet on it because I was like, well, he'd have to plug it in. It doesn't work. I mean, there's no such thing as a gas-powered belt sander, and everyone loved the kill. And I was gonna change it. Jolie's kill. Is Jolie still here, or is she with Mercedes? This is like Tribeca all over again. Those two always disappear. I was gonna change it to a kill where he uses the blunt, the flat side of the top of the hatchet to beat her face inside out, which we ended up using for Dave Foy as Chad in Hatchet 2. A death which, by the way, if you have the Blu-ray, Chad gets hit in the face 30 times. If you saw it in theaters, he got hit 3 times. Because I guess I don't know, I think 30 times is fucking hilarious, and that 3 times is actually serious. But the MPAA, man, the fact that they would let us grind Jolie's face off, but not impale her on a shovel. So the lesson learned here is it's okay to grind a bitch's face off, but don't you put something in her. Like, it's ridiculous. But the belt sander thing, I wanted it out. And then Brian McBrien, who was our production designer on the first one, said, if I can build one that works, where you pull the cord and it starts, that means it could exist in real life, then will you use it? And I'm like, yeah, go ahead, he's never gonna do it. And he tried, and he tried, and he tried, and all of a sudden one day he comes to set and he pulls the cord and the thing went, and it worked. And so it stayed in the movie and instantly became, I mean, it's like right behind Victor Crowley's Hatchet as far as iconic weapons go. I don't know if Pentagraph is in here somewhere. You know, fans love to buy, every now and then we'll release like 25 actual prop hatchets that we'll sell on ariescope.com. Pentagraph, do you get to work building about 25 working gas-powered belt sanders to sell? Go for it.
Hey Rob, Pentagraph, can you stand up 1 second? There's a reason why we all love these movies, and it's because they're so fucking gloriously violent. And that's the man who makes that happen. So give it up for Rob Pendergrass.
Hey Rob, you're awesome. Tell this crowd what you I had to throw up in the first one. Tell them what you handed me, and you said, if you drink this, I guarantee you will throw up. You will not make it through this glass. What was in the glass?
Orange juice and clam chowder.
Fucking it!
You guys game for a little bit of fan service? I'm gonna put somebody on the spot, Mr. Colton Dunn. Come on over here. I wasn't letting your ass get out of here without giving us a stirring rendition of the Biscuit song.
Oh, you want me to sing the song? Yeah. Chicken and biscuits and gravy and chicken with the biscuits and the gravy and the chicken is me.
Colton Dunn. Now, we didn't get to talk to everybody here, but I just want you all to know that you, each and every one of you, are fucking rock stars. And as a fan first, thank you. Give it up for them. Now comes the hard part. That was a lot of fun, right? Yeah. Now, when Adam first said this was the 4th Hatchet movie, you were like, holy shit, right? Please don't spoil anything you've seen for anyone else. And I implore you, because that magic that you guys felt, if you start spoiling scenes, you're going to take that away from someone else. And we need a little love in this world, and that's what these movies, as fucked up as they are, bring. Everybody's going to be in the courtyard outside. Ladies and gentlemen, for the final time tonight, your cast of Hatchet 1 through 4. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. We love you guys. Hatchet Army, one more time, let us hear it. Okay, everyone's going to be heading out to the courtyard. I know you guys want to say hi. Please just give everyone enough time to get out to the courtyard, and they'll do their best to say hey and every other happy little thing we can think of, all right? Be safe, guys.